Good evening. Welcome to our October 8th Commission on Disabilities meeting. If we could please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Vice Chair, if you could do a roll call of the members, please.
Roll call of members for October 8, 2019. Rick Frenny, present.
Michelle DeBellis, present. Enza Goodwin, present.
Pauline Perno, present.
Chair Ralph DeChico, present, and absent is Albert Sheridan and Robert Bent. I believe I sent a copy of the minutes for our September meeting, and if everybody had a chance to look it over, and if anyone wants to make a motion to accept those minutes.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from September 10, 2019. Michelle, would you like to approve the motion?
Approved.
Someone wishes to second it?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, item 2 is my monthly CODA, which is Commission on Disabilities Alliance monthly conference call meeting, which happened last Wednesday, October 2nd. This call was in regards to a follow-up of last month's call about the legislation that the CODA members would like to help to see put on next year's ballot regarding electric shock therapy, especially for disabled individuals. They're looking for volunteers to gather signatures for a signature drive campaign to try and get enough signatures so that it can be a ballot question, an official referendum question on the 2020 election. On the call, it was mentioned that the MOD has also filed the executive director vacancy, and if you look at if the Commission on Disability members look, there is also a second page that I had sent along with the person that they had filled on that. Her name is Mary Mahone McCauley, and she was hired as the new executive director. She previously worked at the MRC, which is the MRC is the Massachusetts Rehabilitation Commission. The way that I guess we had found out on the CODA call is they had their the seminar that they had, the disability seminar, consortium seminar, a few weeks ago, and that's when it was announced there. There actually wasn't a press release, so we didn't know. I guess the vacancy was actually filled September 3rd. So we weren't aware of it, and that's how we found out about it. So I just wanted to forward this information to you so you can see who she was and what she has done in the past. So now what CODA is going to try and do is they're going to try and set up a meeting with her so that somebody from CODA can sit down with her and let them know what we'd like to see from her and helping with the disability community throughout the state. So she is disabled herself. I believe she's visually impaired. So that was one of the things that CODA really wanted to make sure of, that a person that was going to be filling that vacancy was a person themselves that was disabled. When the job was originally posted, it looked like that wasn't going to happen, and that's why we had started sending letters to the state and to the delegation to try and open that up. And it looks like, I guess, our letters and our support for that did work. So kudos to all the members throughout all the Commission on Disabilities for doing that. So that really did help. And we also found out still that the Architectural Access Board position is still open. So we've been having emails back and forth between the CODA members trying to see who we can contact on that, because that is a very important position that needs to be filled because of it oversees variances with construction and with other issues that go on for disabled residents within the cities and towns in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So I'm not sure if anyone has any questions on that. The other thing that I wanted to note that it was also clarified that for last month when I had stated about the electric shock facility, it is only one in the country, I believe, and it is in Massachusetts. So they are transporting people from other states here. So that's why they want to stop that from happening, and that's why they want to get the legislation onto the ballot. So if there's any questions on that or anything, if not, then we will move on to item number 3, which is scheduled October events, and I will turn that over to first to Enza, and then Rick.
Okay, so our CPAC event for the month of October, we will host our annual Halloween party full of tricks and treats on Thursday, October 24th at the Garfield Community School. Families will enjoy games, music, and indoor trick-or-treating. Our events are open to revere children and young adults with special needs. Currently, we're in need of candy and/or treats for the children, so all donations are always helpful. And just a reminder that our CPAC group is a volunteer-based group. So we hope to get some families to join us, and if we could get volunteers to either come out to the event or volunteers to drop up some candy and treats, it would be appreciated.
And I believe we do have it on the CPAC website and also on the Commission on Disabilities website on how they can contact you if they have donations, and if they do have donations, they could bring it to the school at 5 o'clock that evening, and then at the Garfield, and then the event will be open at 5:30 for families and the children, correct? Okay. Rick, would you like to also add to?
Hello, everyone. This Sunday, October 13th, I'll be hosting, along with my wife, the 11th Annual Little Ricky Foundation for Autism. This year, we will be at Breakaway up in Danvers. Food and hall provided by the generosity of Joe Crowley, the owner of Breakaway. Tickets are $50 and include not only dinner, but a wonderful comedy show by national headliners Dave Russo, Christine Hurley, and Paul Costello. We have Billy Pizzuto live music, DJ Danny Delato spinning records, one of the only ones in the country still doing that. We also have caricatures by John, and we have over 50 raffle items ranging in from $100 to $800, including weekend getaways here in New England. Tickets still available at the door. They are $50. The money goes to therapeutic supplies in the classroom, as well as field trips, scholarships, and not only do we help kids in Revere, but we do help children in classrooms in surrounding communities. So the doors open at 3 o'clock this Sunday, and do not fret, the Patriots play Thursday, so there'll be no Patriots game on Sunday, October 13th. So come on up, have something to eat, support the kids, have some laughs, and knowing that your money's going to a great cause. And as Enza said, CPAC's a volunteer organization, as well as the Little Ricky Foundation. It's all 100% volunteer driven. No overhead. We just take our time, we raise money, and we just give it out where it's needed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there one other item? Did you say both items? I have my second event of the golf.
Yeah,
I just want to let everyone know for the edification that I just received notification that this may not be broadcasting over the TV right now. It may just be a blank screen. They may be getting just sound, so that's why I stepped out for a minute.
Well, I have a face for radio, so that doesn't hurt the people at home there, Mr. Chairperson. On October 26th, we're hosting our Little Ricky Golf event. That money really goes straight to the scholarship fund, and that is October 26th, Saturday, tea time at 1 o'clock at the old Newbury Country Club in Newbury, Mass, across from Governor's Academy. It is after, I believe the topsoil fair will be done by then, and so you won't have to worry about traffic. It's $99, and you get a bag of goodies, you get a Little Ricky monogram golf towel, food, and golf and a kart and all kinds of good stuff. So that's Saturday, 1 o'clock, tea time, Old Newbury. All the information for both events, Mr. Chairman, is on the Little Ricky website, which is littlericky.vpweb.com. Thank you for the time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have anything else they'd like to add?
I just wanted to add, anyone listening, if you're going to donate candy, which is greatly appreciated, we just ask that it's nut-free. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Next item I have on the agenda is item number 4. It's regarding a meeting that I had on October 2nd last week with MassDOT about a construction project on Route 60 in Revere. We were actually notified last year from the state that there was going to be a project on all the off streets on Route 60 after Brown Circle, adjacent to, I believe, where sound vision is. I believe it's Pemberton Street, Marshall Street area, that they're going to be installing handicap ramps to bring that all into ADA compliance. So we were notified last year that that was going to be happening, but there was no set dates. And we had a meeting last week that it was going to be starting this week here. And it is going to be going, weather permitting, until hopefully till the middle to the end of November. The streets that are going to be impacted is Marshall Street, Pemberton Street, Keeney Street, Augusta Street, Derby Road, Orvis Road, Leechmere Street, Quincy Street, Larkin Street, Patriots Parkway, Graves Road, both sides of the Route 60, Pomona Street, Beach Road, both sides of Route 60, Harrison Street, and both sides of Route 60, Abruzzi Street, Stanton Ave, Breed Street, along with the intersection of Revere Street and American Legion Highway. So they're going to be digging them up and putting the handicap ramps with the yellow paddings on them to bring those into ADA compliance. So there's a couple of streets that already have them, like Sigourney Street, so that's why you didn't hear Sigourney Street, and also I believe the one going into the entrance after Price Right is that Charger Street already has it. What they're also going to be doing at the intersection of Revere Street and Route 60, the Blanchard's intersection, they're also going to be installing the ADA electronic crosswalk lights. So that's going to be coming into compliance there. So those are going there, along with all these streets are all going to be getting lined with new crosswalks by the state. So this is all getting done by Mass DOT. So that is bringing it into compliance. So as long as the temperature doesn't drop in the weather, they'll all be doing that. So that should hopefully be getting done before the end of November. And then that's going to be done for this year. And then we'll see what's on the horizon for the state for in the springtime, what other projects they're going to be doing. So I just wanted to let everybody be aware of that. So the state is being very diligent and proactive on starting to bring everything into ADA compliance. So if anybody has any questions are on that. So I just want to let everyone be aware of that. Next on the agenda is the item 5 is the self-evaluation plan and transition plans of the municipal buildings update. I just wanted to update everyone. All the self-evaluation plans have been done. I have forwarded all that documentation to the state MOD for the self-evaluation plans. I also received the transition plan from EMG, which was the engineering consulting company that we had hired from the grant to do that work. There's been a few hiccups with it, with just some grammatical errors with it that I've been going back and forth with, and then I just have to do some finalizations and have some meetings with the city to make sure everything in that transition plan lines up on how we want to do it, so that I can have EMG finalize that document, and then that has to be sent over to the state so that we're all in compliance with that. Another thing that I neglected to say is, on our CODA call last week, it was noted that the state is starting to come down on cities and towns that have not done their self-evaluation plan and transition plans, because I'm not sure if they're getting heat from the federal government. From what they can find, they believe that only 14 or 15 communities, I believe, in the Commonwealth have them on file. So they're gonna double check on that number. So, and that was as of 2018. So for them to be starting to look at it, that means there's gonna be some pressure coming from DOJ. So I think it's really good that we were ahead of the curve on that. And it only took me 3 years to get that funding, but it's going to be very beneficial to the residents in the city of Revere and the taxpayers that we got that done. It's not that you have to get the work done, but you just have to have all that documentation done for the municipal buildings. We're just going to be finalizing that transition plan for EMG, so that we are in compliance with the state along with the DOJ. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on that.
You say only 14?
This is what they were telling me, and they're gonna double check on that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's either 14, they weren't sure if it was 14 or 14%. And in the New England, out of the New England states, the only state that had a better amount of cities and towns was Connecticut. And it really wasn't that much better. So that's why we were thinking Massachusetts was 14% and not 14, because it looked like Connecticut, the numbers that they had, Connecticut was, I believe, 25%.
Even 14%,
Yes.
if there's 300 and
No,
something, it's only
yeah.
about 40 communities.
Yeah, so that's why they were gonna try and get the exact numbers for us and try and get the data and see what exactly what communities were on that. And the data was from 2018. Like I said to them, I said, I know Revere is not gonna be included on that because we just undertook that in fiscal year 2019. But this was supposed to be done back in 1992, started and completed in 1995. So for all these cities and towns to not have that, that's, I don't know what words I should use for that. Very unacceptable, very unacceptable. So that's where we are on that. So kudos to us getting that done and being ahead of the curve. Next, I have item number 6, which is old business. And this has been carried over because unfortunately Pauline couldn't be here last month. So she has drawn up a draft letter that everyone has a copy of. And I'm going to turn this over to Pauline to speak on it.
Thank you very much. A few months back, I commented on the traffic issue here in Revere, not just traffic, but traffic approaching crosswalk. And going up the beach, I noticed that people were already well into the crosswalk, well into the street before cars could even view them. And while we do have a number of crosswalks, we do not have anything, well, we do have some, but we don't have enough in place that will alert drivers that you really need to take a step back, take a break, and allow people to at least enter into the crosswalk. What has happened is I was on the beach over the summer, but I most recently decided to park on the beach and watch. And I lost count of how many cars were actually going through the crosswalk while there were people already on the crosswalk. They were already in. The problem being is the way that cars are parked up against that crosswalk, there's no leeway. And so by the time people are stepping off the curbing into the middle of the street, you have cars that are coming very, very quickly, that they're not slowing down. They figure if they haven't seen anyone by then, there's no one in the crosswalk. I did do some research, and I was fortunate enough to be able to find out what these things are called, and they're called, they have an acronym, of course, an RRFB, Rectangular Rapid Flashing Beacon. And what they are is they are pedestrian activated before the pedestrian actually steps off the curbing to alert oncoming cars. And because they're on both sides of the crosswalk, it's not just going northbound on the north side, it's northbound and southbound traffic, both being alerted on right and left and north and south sides, that there are pedestrians either approaching the crosswalk, already in it, or stepping off the curbing, which is supposed to enhance the driver ability to stop before something happens. With that said, seeing as that there are so many construction vehicles right now being parked along the beach, there are so many commercial vehicles parked along Broadway in the morning, I've seen kids step off the sidewalks onto the crosswalks, and cars are not stopping, regardless of crossing guard, police officer, whomever. So I think that we're actually in a position right now, before we incur a significant fatality or a significant injury, to bring this to the powers that be to become a little bit more proactive in doing something to enhance this opportunity. I do feel that it's very important. I have children myself, and although my kids are older, I still watch them in the crosswalks, and I still watch traffic. Now, if we're watching it for people that are actually ambulatory, that are walking, that's the nurse in me coming out, walking across, what about those folks that are using walkers, wheelchairs, crutches, children who are not able to be able to make that connection between you need to stop and actually stopping? You know, what are we going to do to make sure that the whole population is protected against the incredible amounts of traffic? And the traffic is increasing. There is nothing we can do about it at this time. I know that we are getting some automated systems, but automation is only as good as getting everything together so that we can combat this problem. I do believe it has become a bigger issue than anyone wants to realize.
Just push the button, name and address for the record, please.
Rocco Falzoni, 55 Toscano Ave. I'd like to just go one step further. For some reason, the Revere City Council has an issue with traffic, and they have an issue with painting lines. What color should we paint the crosswalks? Blue, red, green. And that's been going on for about a month and a half, 2 months. Well, your idea is an excellent avenue to follow through with. If you may make an appointment, speak to the city clerk downstairs, make an appointment, come up on a meeting and run this by the city council, and that would help them to make up their mind a little bit faster to see what they want to do. But your intervention with your ideas, I think it's an excellent program. And just pursue it. So let's see what happens in the end.
Well, thank you,
Thank
and I
you, Chair.
appreciate that. I do realize that there's more to this. This is a huge, it's not just traffic, it's not just pedestrian, it's not just crosswalk. I was down in Beachmont, and I overheard someone say, oh yes, we painted the crosswalk red and white because I think that that will help traffic. And I would like to believe that, but in my heart and in my head, I think it needs to be more. I think the more visibility, the more prominent, I think that maybe some good will all come out of this before we incur something that we can't undo. But thank you.
My suggestion, what we can do, Pauline, is this letter is what I can do on your behalf, is I can forward this letter to Julie DeMauro, who is
Absolutely.
the active transportation coordinator for the city of Revere, and have you two touch base, and you could talk to her more on it, because see what she's looking into right now, and maybe you can set up a call with her and discuss that with her. And I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna have you spearhead this and take this on.
Sure.
So I'll email and put you on it and introduce you by email with Julie.
Okay.
And have you work on it, because I know she's been looking into different avenues. Speaking of the colored sidewalks, and it was over a year ago that I know the beautification committee was looking at doing colored crosswalks, and I was adamantly against it. And some people were saying colored crosswalks could help, but they don't. They cause a false positive, and very false positive. And also, what they do is there are people that are colorblind, visually impaired. The best, safest, and best crosswalks is the old white ladder style crosswalks. We've been talking with other people in the community that have family members that are visually impaired. The best place to cross, I know sometimes it's an inconvenience and it doesn't always work, is you always want to go cross at a traffic light. You don't want to cross at a secondary crosswalk if at all possible, because like I said, even though there's a crosswalk there, you can have anything you want there. It's a false positive. You see some of these communities are doing these 3D crosswalks. It's a false positive, and a 3D crosswalk is going to do more harm than anything else, because a person that's driving is going to see that at the last minute, and they're going to veer off and cause tremendous damage, hurt somebody else, or hurt themselves. So all that is false positives. So I am adamantly against colored crosswalks, 3D crosswalks. The problem is technology that people have in their vehicles is adding to the problem that's out there. Everybody is being distracted when they're driving, and I don't know how I can instill it. It is very, very tough for people that are visually impaired, and it's just a false positive to cross in a regular crosswalk, because a lot of people don't pay mind, and if you have slow people crossing or slow visually impaired, they still don't pay attention to it. So the best place to always cross is a crosswalk, and I know ADA regulations, when cross lights and traffic lights have to be changed or updated, they all have to be updated to meet the ADA specifications, and they're all the electronic signalizations. They have the beeping countdowns and whatnot. So that does happen. So when they have to, the signalization has to be changed, that's what happens.
Just take it one more step further. What you just had said, Mr. Chairman. I think it was in Boston, the vision impaired crosswalk in Boston. They have people that talk on there. Walk, do not walk. Walk, do not walk. And they have signs, signals. And I think being Revere is 12 minutes out of Boston, 10 minutes out of Boston. If we can implement that in the city of Revere, I think that would help a lot of people that are visually impaired, as well as people are hard of hearing as well.
I know Julie DeMauro has been looking into it, and the one thing with Broadway, it'd be much easier if Broadway was a city of Revere Street too, but you get involved in all the red tape, because believe it or not, Broadway is a state road. Squire Road is a state road, so everybody has to combine, and and then also the beach is a state road. So I know Julie is probably going to be working with our state delegation, and it has to be a meeting of the minds to try and get everybody at the state level to sit down to make sure when they're going to be modifying all the traffic signals that it's ADA law anyway, that everything has to come to compliance. So they can't just put regular traffic signals in anything.
What you just said was a mouthful. It's a shame and disgrace. Yeah. The state of Massachusetts will not even think of what's going on as far as people that are visually impaired, people that are hard of hearing.
Well, the good thing now is the person that's now in charge of the MOD is another person who's visually impaired, and that's why the group that I'm involved with, that we meet once a month, we want to sit down with her, because a lot of these members on the group that I speak to, there's a few members that are visually impaired, and we want to get somebody strong to back us.
That's the only way it's going to work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything else they'd like to share on that?
Just as a note on follow-up, those rectangular rapid flashing beacons are also synced with the verbal, and so it's got everything all rolled into one, so it does hit compliance with that.
Yeah, like on Broadway, they're going to be, it was in the paper, they meet some type of a new, I forget the exact terminology, it's a smart traffic signalization, and that's what you need, so everything is in sync with all the lights changing and crosswalks, so when they know when a crosswalk signal is changed, they know not to let the other lights go, because people are gonna be down here crossing, so it's all gonna be intertwined and be able to be controlled. So in the old way, you could put one of those up there, but it's not gonna matter if down the street if the light was changing, so that's why it all has to all be interconnected.
Right.
Pauline, would you mind reading the letter to all the viewers at home? To let them know how passionate this is. I mean, it's a great letter. I think
thank you.
everyone should hear it.
So basically, it says, "Traffic in Revere is not pleasant, a fact many of us are reminded of every day. Cars are only part of the problem we face, the other being pedestrian or foot traffic. Revere, while fortunate to be home to a beautiful beach, has attracted many visitors. People walking are provided many designated crosswalks. However, crosswalks are only useful if the vehicles on the road can visualize the on-off curbing on either side of the street. This being said, pedestrians must approach crosswalks slowly and not step off the curbing. Many crosswalks have cars parked right on the edge of the curbing or right at the crosswalk. Oncoming traffic many times are unable to see people crossing the street until it is too late and they screech their brakes and possibly cause injury. This is not just a Revere problem, it is generally a problem in any city or town. Cities and towns must take a proactive approach in dealing with this issue before any person becomes a victim of a preventable accident." You're welcome.
Thank you. Now, if anybody think that, like Pauline was saying, if anybody wants to add anything to this or modify it, she's open to suggestions, and they could send an email. And if, maybe what I'll do is I'll send a preliminary email to both you and Julie and saying that we're working on this and you would like at both of y'all's convenience just to talk to each other via the phone, and if that works for you.
That does. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, any other late items? Does anyone? How do we do that after? Believe I went over most of them as the old business. Next, I have open forum with any residents' concerns with any ongoing issues, questions, or any feedback.
Rocco Falzoni, 55 Toscano Ave. Chairman Pacheco, Vice Chair Freni, and staff. I introduced myself last year with a situation that I've been going through and where I live for quite a long time, but being the fact where I was ignorant for what you guys do, my problem has nothing to do with what you gentlemen do and young ladies as well. You're in this major city of Revere, 12 minutes out of Boston, and before I elaborate what I really want to get into that, I cannot believe that you don't have any Revere journals not here, the advocates not here to pick up your stories for what you people do. And I'm telling your television audience right now is that everything that you guys do, it's all voluntary. So that should be more kudos to all of us by coming up here and spending your time being advocates for people that have major problems in this world. My situation was being the fact where I had a lousy problem where I live has got nothing to do with what you guys do. Mr. Farini, time we had a little talk at one of the events for what you had gone through, sir. You are a miracle for what you went through. You had a divine intervention in your life. My problem was couldn't even compare with your problem as far as the health issue goes. So God bless you. And basically, more or less, I'm just here to tell your television audience that you should pay attention for what's going up here. It's a shame and disgrace that there's not any people up here listening to your stories. I find that terrible. But I'm only one person just having my opinion spoken. So with that said, thank you. And thank you for all the people in Revere for what you guys do.
We appreciate it, and it doesn't matter if we have a full room or not, we still do our job and what we have to do, and we put our agenda out, and it's on Revere TVs, and I send out the notices that they can watch it any other time, and I had created the Commission on Disabilities Facebook page, and I also put a link to it for the meetings to go on thereafter. So,
Well, kudos to you. And I also would like to mention the fact that it's been a long time that Revere hasn't had a Commission on Disability. So congratulations to all of you.
thank you.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So our next steps is that I'm going to be putting Pauline in touch with Julie tomorrow so that they can talk more on the crosswalks and see what Julie's been working on, and that they can see what's going on there. The other areas that I will be doing is I'm going to be setting up a meeting with the administration with the transition plan to get that all done so that I can get that sent over to the state and get that finished. Just for the edification of the community too. There is people working to get some work done on the Legion to get a ramp put in there. So I know some members over there at the Legion have been working hard on getting that come to fruition, because there's been some money put aside for a while, so they are working on that, and hopefully that will come to fruition soon. So now that the self-evaluation and transition plans are done, once all that is into to the state, then I can start applying for what's called shovel in the ground grants, and work on that. And that's when the work is really going to start to begin in doing that. And then I want to start getting back to what my goals are for this year and try and work on trying to see if we can solidify any of the parking violation tickets for handicap parking to be set into the handicap Commission on Disabilities funds, so that can help pay for any of that work that's going to get done, shoveling the grant, because sometimes when you apply for those grants, they want to see you also have some matching funds. So with that was where that money would be going towards, to use that.
I just want to say thanks to Mr. Falzone for acknowledging all of us up here. Everyone does their little part to make this city better every day. And although the local papers aren't here, they do give us free advertisement for the events, the Journal and the Advocate. So I sold quite a few tickets because of the Journal and because of the Advocate. The Advocate puts it in all their different cities they are in. And the Journal gives me a good half-page ad every week to for the Little Ricky event. We do need more, hopefully more coverage on the Commission on Disabilities. But as far as individually with CPAC and the Little Ricky event, I think we do get the free advertise, and they let us put our pictures in the papers afterwards, and we're forever grateful to Deb DeGregorio of the Journal and Jimmy Mitchell over at the Advocate for helping us out with CPAC and the Little Ricky Foundation. But I do appreciate your concern and your kind and generous words for what we do. We're just paying it forward. You know, these are the hands we're dealt, and we're doing the best we can with it, trying to make it a better place for everyone.
Sorry about my ignorance again.
Oh, no, not at all.
I had no idea that, but what I see in the forefront is what my thoughts were and my concern.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
it'd be nice if we came here and there was 30, 40 people in here, like a city council meeting, but it's not. We're still new, but thank goodness we got probably one of the best chairmen of any commission in the Commonwealth here at Ralph DeChico. He's really leading us on the path.
Absolutely.
And we just follow his lead, and he's a great friend. He's a great leader here of the commission, and the city's in a better place because of people like him. So I appreciate it, Mr. Falzone.
I can second that motion. And let me just, before I end my story, for the short people that you are here, 6, 7 people you have here, you put the city council to shame for what you talk about in 45 minutes. So I just want to run that by us. And keep the good work up, and I'll be back again.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll see you Sunday, Mr. Falzone.
That might be another issue. You know, I got a real bad kidney problem, and I've got to be careful.
Mr. Fernie, thank you for your words, and like I said, I can't do it with any of you guys and women.
We'll have a group hug after the meeting.
Yes, we
All
will.
right.
Yes, we will. So, you guys, did you just fight for who wants to do item 10?
Pauline, I tell you, I want Pauline to read that letter again. Pauline, would you mind reading item 10?
Sure, my soothing voice is now going to put everybody to sleep.
Oh,
Everybody
I could
rest your
use a good nap.
eyes.
Thank you.
Item number 10 is your reminder. The Commission on Disabilities has office hours on Fridays from 8:15 to 12:15 in the Veterans Services Office in the rear of the Legion Building at 249R Broadway, which is next door to City Hall. You can call for an appointment if you would like, but do not need one. You will be able to talk to someone from our 311 Constituent Service Center on other days when you call our office at 781-286-8267. They will be able to answer most questions, but if they are unable to, or if you would like a call back from our office, they can transfer you to the Disability Office's voicemail, and someone will get back to you as soon as they can. Also, please let us know if you would like something discussed or brought up and added to our monthly meeting agenda. You can let us know if you would like to come and speak on any issue or concern. The Commission is here to help and assist all the disabled residents and families of Revere.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Just motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay. Our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, November 12th at 6 p.m. Before we wrap it up for tonight, I just want to extend to all our Jewish residents and families a Yom Kippur tomorrow, and also wanted to wish everyone a happy Columbus Day, which is next Monday, and the City of Revere will be hosting the parade on Sunday, and it will be televised live.
We'll be hosting
on Monday,
Yes.
sorry. The parade will be, is Monday in Revere, sorry about that. And it's going to be hosted live by the one and only Rick Frenny and his son on Revere TV. So the parade is going to be Monday in Revere down Broadway. So hopefully it's going to be a beautiful day and everybody to come out and enjoy it. So thank you and have a good night.